Hello students. In the last lecture, we did two topics. One was equipotential surface and other was relation between electric field and potential. In equipotential surface, we have seen that the equipotential surface for a point charge was spherical, and for a uniform electric field, the equipotential surface was planar. That is, when the field was along the x-axis, equipotential surface was in YZ plane. Then we tried to find out the relation between electric field, which was a vector quantity, and the potential, which is a scalar quantity. Now we took the two examples. In this example, the electric field was along the y-axis and we were moving from point B to point A, and when we were moving from point B to A, this work done to move a unit positive charge was equal to the potential difference. And if we assume that these two equipotential surface, these two surfaces are equipotential, the field is along y-axis, so this plane is in xz plane. So this is first equipotential surface, second equipotential surface, third equipotential surface. This two equipotential surface was assumed to be near to each other, close to each other, or are closely packed. So we have written E is equal to minus dV by dr. Now see here, when I am moving from plane B to plane A or point B to point A, I was moving against the field, and the angle between the field and the displacement, if I say the angle between my motion and the displacement, then it was 0, and the angle between electric field and the displacement was 180. So I was moving against the field. Now when I move against the field, I got the relation E is equal to minus dV by dr. So when you are moving against the field radially, means opposite to the field, here also we move from point R to point P, so it is opposite to the field. So that dot between E and dr was taken as 0. The angle between minus E and dr is taken as 0. So this was our equation. I am writing this equation again. Say work done from R to P to move a unit positive charge Q naught. Then we used to write it minus integration E dot dr, and this give rise to delta V or dV, or we can write, if you are moving from R to P, it was Vp minus Vr. Now in the case of these two these two diagrams, if R and P or point B or A are very close to each other, the angle between this opposite of the electric field and dr was 0. And if they are very close to each other, we have simply written E dr cos 0 is equal to dV, and we arrived at this relation. So this is how we came to this relation. I want to say that we were moving radially. We were moving radially opposite to the direction of the field, or we were moving from one equipotential surface to the other equipotential surface. This is one equipotential surface, this is another equipotential surface. So if I take this point R here, point P here, again I am moving against the field. So we removed that dot and we arrived at this formula. But it is not necessary that I always move radially or opposite to the field. It may be possible that I may move making an angle theta with the field. Suppose this is an electric field intensity. Now it is okay if I move from point R to point P. So what will be the situation? This is the equipotential surface plane. This is the equipotential surface plane. Remember, in the equipotential surface, we came to the conclusion that E vector or electric field intensity is always perpendicular to the equipotential surface. So you have to remember that electric field is always perpendicular to the equipotential surface. Now, if I move from R to P, I am moving against the field. So I directly write the relation E is equal to minus dV upon, now if it is x-axis, I can write dx. If it is a y-axis, I can write dy. So there is no problem. But if I move in this direction, say from point P to point R, this is my path. It does not depend, the work done does not depend on the path, but it depends on the initial and the final position. So it is now that you are moving in a plane. You are not moving radially. You are not moving either in the direction of the field or opposite to the direction of the field. And if you move perpendicular, suppose I move perpendicular to the field. Now what will happen if I move perpendicular to the field? This is the direction of the field, radially outward. Now if I move dr, this angle comes out to be 90 and E was perpendicular to displacement or perpendicular to the equipotential surface. You have to remember, E is not perpendicular to dr, but E is always perpendicular to the equipotential surface. If I take this case, theta comes out to be 90. So work done is 0. And it means when you move on an equipotential surface, the work done is 0. If I move from this point to this, so we will not move perpendicular to the field. Radially, if you move making an angle 0 degree or 180 degree, then we may apply this formula. But what happens if I move making an angle theta with the electric field? Now this is the situation where you cannot directly apply this formula because you are not moving perpendicular, the work done comes out to be 0. So now you are not moving radially. The field is along x-axis and you are moving in xy plane. So this formula need to introduce the theta, or we have to write this equation in the form of a dot product. So let us see the next possibility of the relation between electric field and the potential. So this was a simple case where we have moved radially in the direction of the field or opposite to the direction of the field. It is very easy to apply this formula in that situation. Now we will see what will happen if you are moving making an angle theta with the electric field. Now let us see the differential form of this equation. Suppose we are moving from point A to B. The work is done to move a unit positive charge from point A to B against the field. So, and also we assume distance between points is delta R. Therefore, small amount of work done for a small displacement delta W from A to B per unit charge, which is a unit positive charge, that will be equal to delta V. If required, we can write this as VB minus VA equal to minus E dot delta R vector. Now this is a small amount of work done. If we assume that if limit delta R tends to 0, or you can say A and B are very near to each other, then we need this relation. So I will write dV is equal to minus E dot dr. Now this is the relation in the differential form. This is a relation in differential form. Now earlier what we were doing, what we have seen in the last lecture or in the introductory part of this lecture, there we removed this dot. You try to understand this point. You removed this dot because you were moving in the direction against the field. Against the field means minus E. E was radially outward, or in that case E was along the y-axis. So we took two examples. One was the field was along the y-axis and we took two equipotential surfaces B and A. So in that case the angle between minus E, matlab opposite to the field, and dr was 0, and we write E dr cos 0, and therefore E was written as minus dv upon dr. Now that was the case when theta was 0 degree, or you can say if theta is 180 degree, you substitute 180. And if you move on an equipotential surface, theta will be 90 degree. So there is no need to move perpendicular to the field. Otherwise, the work done comes out to be 0. So that was a simple relation for a specific examples. For all the general cases, now it is not necessary that I will always move a unit positive charge making an angle 0 degree, 180 degree or 90 degree. I may move a unit positive charge in the field making an angle theta, means my displacement make an angle theta with the electric field or opposite to the electric field. So in that situation, how to find out the relation? So this is the general differential form which is relating electric field and electric potential, and we know if there is a dot product, the resultant quantity is a scalar quantity. Now in the Cartesian form, or we have studied a vector can be written as EXI plus EYJ plus EZK. See, this is a relation or this lecture is an extra lecture. We are not taking the topic from our textbook. They have directly given us the relation, a simple relation, but this is important for our MCQ. So we are taking this topic. So E can be written like this in the Cartesian form, and similarly dr vector can be written as dxi plus dyz dzk. Now it will be important how you are moving in the electric field. So therefore dv can be written as minus, now in the place of E vector, EXI plus EYJ plus EZK dot DXI plus DYJ plus DZK. Now it is a dot product. I cap multiplied by I cap multiplied by J cap comes out to be 0. So if I substitute all this, do the dot product, it comes out to be EX dx, taking the minus common, EY dy plus EZ dz. Now this is our change in potential. We will say how the numericals are done on the basis of this theory. Now this equation here, Ex can also be written as, now see, this is change in V. Now it is clear that if the electric field is along the x-axis, suppose the electric field is along the x-axis and you are moving along the y-axis, so what you will write? Electric field I component, you are moving in y component or y-axis, so it becomes using this equation I dot j. I dot j. So it comes out to be 0. Now if the electric field is along x-axis, you are moving along the x-axis, so it comes out to be minus E dr. If you are moving opposite to the field, it becomes plus E dr. So like this, you can do the dot product also here. But if the electric field is along the x-axis only, if the electric field is along x-axis and I am moving in xy plane, suppose the electric field is along x-axis. Now this is our x-axis, the field is along x-axis and I am moving in this direction, say from point P to point R. This is the direction of the displacement. So clearly I cannot directly write that previous formula. So here I have to write dV is equal to minus EXI dot DXI plus DYJ. So this is equal to again minus EX dx. This is minus EX dx. So if the field is along the x-axis, I will get the potential in the form of the component that is x-axis. Now instead of taking this dx distance, I have to take actually this distance. Say you are moving from point P to point R. Let us enlarge the thing. The electric field is along the x-axis. So actually you moved from point P to point R. This was my actual displacement or the motion. But dV is equal to minus Ex dx. The answer comes out to be Ex dx only. So what is this dx? That is the distance along the x-axis. So I have to drop the perpendicular here and say this point is R dash or say this point is M. So I have to take this distance dx while calculating the electric field intensity and not the distance between P and R. So this will be your dx. So if this theta is given, suppose this theta is given and if I have moved 5 meter, so in the place of dx, I will write 5 and say the angle is 30 degree. So I will write phi cos 30. So this is how you have to deal with the relation. We will come to this point. I want to say that if you are moving in 2 dimension and the field is along one axis or one dimensional, then we have to take the care of the distance between the initial and the final position. You can not directly take distance between point P and R. Similarly, it may be possible that a field is 2 dimensional and you are moving in 1 dimension. So we will explore all this with the help of example. For the time being, you keep this in mind that if you are not moving radially inward or outward in the direction of field or out away from the field radially, then we use this as a general formula. We keep a dot, otherwise 180 and 0 degree the dot will be removed. Now here, instead of writing Ex is equal to dV by dx, because if we have 3 components here, if you remember our standard 11th vector chapter, if I have the 3 components of potential here, then I will compare I component with I, J with J, K with K. But here electric field is a vector quantity. It has 3 components. Potential is a scalar quantity. So we introduce a new concept of mathematics. Ex can be written as minus, we read it del V upon del X. We will see the meaning of this equation also, and it will be read as partial derivative of V with respect to X. Partial derivative means, we will see in the example, partial means some portion. The other portion may be considered as constant. Say the field is along x-axis. You are moving in xy plane. So that y component displacement will give you zero result. Because you are moving in xy plane, you have two coordinates, x coordinate and y coordinate. X coordinate of distance or the position will be multiplied by the x coordinate of the field. But what about the y coordinate of a point? The field is along x-axis. So if I have this y coordinate of dr and x component of E, then the resultant would be 0. So it means the position of the y or the y coordinate of a point will give you 0 result. You have to consider only x coordinate. So it is called the partial derivative. Partial means though our x and y coordinate change, when you are moving in xy plane, your x and y coordinate both change, but the field was along the x-axis only. So that y coordinate will yield 0 result because it is a dot product. So I have to do the partial derivative of v, because one equation of v will be given to us, we have to do the derivative. I will immediately take the example of this topic. Just you remember what I am writing, Ey, so minus del v upon del y. It will be read as partial derivative of v with respect to y. And similarly, Ez can be written as minus del v by del z, and it will be read as partial derivative of v with respect to z. We will explore this partial derivative concept by taking a simple example. So if the potential is given to us, how to find out the electric field intensity at a point, and if the electric field intensity is given, how to find out the potential at a point. If equipotential surfaces are given, how the electric field has to be found, that is also an example. So we will explore all the types of example. So what is the general relation between the electric field and electric potential is dV is equal to minus E dot dr. And if I take a specific example of the previous lecture, the dot was removed because the theta was 0, the field was along the x-axis and you were moving along the x-axis only, or radially inward or radially outward. But if it is not the case, then we have to do this calculation of the partial derivative, and now we will try to understand what is the partial derivative. Now see an example. If v is equal to 3x square plus y square minus z square, so one equation is given to us. Find E vector and its magnitude at point P 102 meter. So now clearly the point is in xz plane. Now we have to find out the electric field intensity as well as its magnitude. So see how we will find out the electric field intensity, because if we want to find out the electric field intensity, we have three components. So we will use this formula. See that numericals are more easier as compared to the theoretical explanation. So if we know the formula, you can easily do the MCQ. The concept of theory is important, but it is little bit difficult to understand these concepts. Now V is given. So because I have to find out E vector, I will find out its X component, Y component and Z component. So Ex, it is X component of the field. So it should be written as partial derivative of V with respect to X. So it is a partial derivative. Now what does this partial derivative means? Now we know that if the electric field is along the x-axis, the displacement should be of x-axis only. So though I move in a plane, I will take a distance along the x-axis only. So the y and z components are not important for me. Though I move in xy plane that we have seen in the figure, I will drop a perpendicular and will take the distance along the x-axis only. So that is partial. Now when I do the partial derivative of any equation, I will take x as a variable and all the other quantities as a constant. Now here we have three variables, x, y and z. Now if I say mathematically you find dv upon dx, so what will happen? The mathematics students know, for 3x square you will write 6x. For y square you will write 2y dy by dx. For this you will write minus 2z dz upon dx. But when I say the partial derivative, only do the derivative of the x variable, consider y and z to be constant. So there is a difference between dv by dx and del v by del s, or partial derivative of v with respect to x. Here I assume all this other coordinates, the y and z variable, to be constant term. And in this case, I have to do the derivative of y with respect to x, derivative of z with respect to x also. So mathematics student know what I am saying this thing. So if I have to find out dv by dx, 6x plus 2y dy by dx minus 2z dz by dx. For bio student, simple thing. Partial derivative means do the derivative of the x, other terms are constant. So it becomes minus 6x. Then y is constant, z is constant, its derivative comes out to be 0. So the x component is minus 6x. Now x coordinate, here x is equal to 1. Therefore Ex is equal to minus 6 volt per meter. So I got this, the x component of the electric field intensity. Similarly Ey, so minus del v by del y. So now do the derivative with respect to y, other terms constant. So it comes out to be this minus sign and derivative of this, that is 2y. Here y is 0. So Ey is equal to 0 volt per meter. See, if you are moving in xz plane, only the field along x and z axis will, along x and z axis will contribute. See, the y component comes out to be 0. Ez minus del v by del z. So this minus sign and the derivative of minus z square, that is minus 2z. So it comes out to be 2z. Here z is equal to 2. So Ez is equal to, therefore Ez is equal to 4 volt per meter. Now I substitute these values. So I need to find out E vector. So now any vector can be written as Exi plus Eyj plus Ezk. This is equal to, now y coordinate is 0, so this becomes minus 6i and plus 4k volt per meter. So where it is very easy to find out the vector quantity with the help of a scalar quantity. So this is the electric field intensity. Clearly the electric field intensity is along minus xz plane. Now I need to find out the intensity magnitude. So it is under root minus 6 square plus 4 square. So that is equal to 36 plus 16. So it becomes root 52 volt per meter. So this is how we find out a vector quantity with the help of a scalar quantity. So this is one use of this general formula. Now let us see another example where the electric field intensity is given as Cxi volt per meter, where C is some constant, value is 10 volt per meter square, x is the coordinate. Clearly I cap is given, means the electric field intensity is along the x-axis. We have a point having coordinate 10-20 meter, so it is in xy plane, to be 0. Then find the potential at the origin. So the potential is given as some point and you have to find out the potential at the origin. So from the electric field intensity we have to find out the potential. So in example 1 the potential equation was given and we found the electric field intensity with the help of this partial derivative. So this partial derivative concepts come only when E is 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional, or displacement is 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional. For 1D the relation is simple. Keep in mind that is E is equal to minus dV by dx, dV by dy, minus dV by dy, or minus dV by dz if it is 1-dimensional. So clearly the electric field is 1-dimensional, that is along the x-axis, though the point or the coordinates are 2-dimensional. So in this situation, instead of doing this partial derivative or using this equation, we will simply write here dV is equal to minus E dot directly we will write minus E dx, because the electric field intensity is along the x-axis. The electric field intensity is along the x-axis, and if the field is along the x-axis, the displacement along the x-axis will play an important role, because the y and z coordinates are perpendicular. So even if I use this dot product, of E dot dr, I will get the same result. You see this, you apply this E, instead of E vector you write EXI. In the place of dr you write dxi plus dyj, because you have two coordinates. Then you do the dot product, so you arrive at the same formula. So we ignore the first step, or let us do that first step. This is our general equation. So if potential is given, you do the partial derivative. Now opposite of the derivative will be the integration. So now this can be written as dV is equal to, this is x coordinate, so this can be written as Cxi dot dxi plus dyj, because we have x and y coordinate. So if I do this dot product, it comes out to be minus Cx dx. So instead of doing this two steps, I can directly write E is equal to minus dV by dx. If we know the field is along the x-axis, directly you write dV is equal to minus E dx dy dz if it is 1 dimension. Otherwise No issues. We can use the general formula only. So dV is equal to minus Cx dx. Now clearly we need to find out the potential. So integrating both sides with proper limit. So integrating both sides with proper limit. So integration dV minus integration Cx dx. Now what is given? Take the potential at point 10 20 meter to be 0. Here the integration is with respect to x. So I take only x coordinate. So if the initial limit is x coordinate, so I have to take, because the field is along x axis, so I will take only the x coordinate. So at 10 meter the potential is 0. It is given. So see, the field is along x-axis, this is the field along x-axis, and this is our y-axis. So this is a point, say 10 20. So you are moving like this from P to origin. So it is making some angle with the field. But instead of taking the concept of theta, theta is not given. So we are taking the concept of the dot product. So x coordinate again, because the field is along x-axis, this x coordinate will play an important role. So for 10, the potential is 0. This point, the coordinate is 10 or x coordinate is 10, final is 0. Now I have to find out the potential at the origin. So potential at the origin is, suppose V. Potential at the origin is given as V. So the limit of dV becomes 0 to V, and the limit of dx, that will become from, what will be the limit? 10 to 0. So you are moving from point 10 to 0. Here the potential is 0. So limit, proper limit, you have to write like this. So when I am at the point P, the x coordinate is 10, potential is 0. When I come to the origin, x coordinate becomes 0, and I have to find out the potential at origin, so it becomes V. So now integration of dV, it becomes V, limit becomes 0 to V equal to minus C integration of x dx, that is x square by 2, 2 is written outside, limit becomes 10 to 0. So this is equal to final minus initial, that is V minus 0, minus C value is 10, so 10 divided by 2, final limit 0 square minus 10 square, that is 100. So V is equal to minus 5 into minus 100. So this is minus 100. So V is equal to 500 volt. So we moved, this point has 0 potential and the origin has 500 volt. So this is how we find out the potential from the field. So if field is given, we do the integration. If V is given, we do the partial derivative if it makes an angle theta. Means electric field is 1D, you are moving 2-dimensional. Field is 2-dimensional, you are moving 1-dimensional. So dot product. So we have two relation. Previous lecture, a simple example for 1 dimension. For this today's lecture, if we are moving 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, or field is 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, then we have a dot product relation. So many examples are there related with this concept. We will take one more extra example in the coming lecture. So this is what we have for today's lecture. Have a good day.